Can I have a donut now?
No.
Yes, that was a conversation taking place during an apocalypse. The tone-deaf nature of this movie was astonishing. If you walked into the room during some of these conversations, you wouldn't know there was a literal apocalypse going on. You'd think it was a pandemic movie, which is probably one of the 100 themes explored in this movie. The sad thing is this movie had an incredible premise. What happens when no one can leave their house? But then, instead of approaching that from one genre, it takes on multiple themes until you're not sure what the movie was about. At first glance, we can tell that it's an environmental allegory. Humans are killing the earth. But then, it's also a claustrophobic survival thriller and a sci-fi movie with a sprinkle of family drama. Top it off with a bit of comedy.
Team Delgado on 3.
I think we need to
Just do it.
sport.
But in all the chaos, the family never breaks down. No, no, no. Even with all the external pressures, their positivity and ability to not panic is just unimaginable.
Can we try and stay a little bit more positive?
Even when the electricity goes out, nobody panics. Nobody ever panics in this apocalypse. They have a plan for everything. But is it even an apocalypse? Is the whole world involved, or just the country, or just the state? Even if we overlook all that, this movie just took so much of the first half, showing us how the family adapts to the situation. But it was really an excuse to explore multiple themes, like how we need to know our neighbors better,
What's his name?
Oh my God. Do you know anyone's name here on the street?
how we live with people and have neighbors but are actually isolated from them, as we barely know anything about each other and possibly do not care enough about each other until we are forced to. The director made an effort to not explore the situation, the event that was created, but chose instead to show us interactions between members of this family and even other families as they adapt to this event, doing little to move the plot forward. And that made the pace very slow. Some people liked the first half. Personally, I had to constantly check the time, wondering when the action was coming, if it ever was. 1 hour in and we still didn't know what was causing all this or how. We were just watching family time. It felt like they were making an episode of a TV show. And to be fair, this movie would have fared better as a limited TV series. We ultimately don't even know much about any of the characters. The only interesting character is probably Ruth. They weren't given any concrete backstories, hence, the audience struggles to connect with them. And if we struggled to connect with the main family, then the other families were nearly invisible. The characters ultimately didn't seem developed enough for us to care that much. We were just waiting to see what was next, waiting for something to happen. And when something finally happens, when we see the monsters, things take a dramatic but not so dramatic turn. Just like that, we jump 5 years into the future and we meet our family still largely unchanged and unperturbed by the dying world around them. We can assume from the title that everyone around them had died because we don't see them communicating with anyone again, and the director decided to leave that part out. The boy is the only one who seems to be affected psychologically, but even that fails to have much of an impact as he ultimately just toes the line. They've grown so many plants from seeds that we didn't even know they had in the beginning. There's no power and no fuel, but Jason has been building mechanized traps and devices all over the house. The traps are really cool though. They've also run out of gas, so they now cook with wood, but we can't even see where they're harvesting the wood from. The monsters look cool, and it would have been great to see how a widespread confrontation with humans would have played out. But alas, this is actually not a movie about monsters. And if that's not been clear before now, then you should know this now. That's not why we're here. We are here because the sea creatures are fighting back, because nature is fighting back, because humans have done so much damage to a world that doesn't belong to them.
This is their world. It's their home.
At some point, Ruth tries to release their only source of animal protein because, well, they have enough vegetables, reinforcing the fact that this movie is about saving the world from humanity. This is about the ocean, about overfishing and its effect on sea life, about excessive hunting when we can survive on plants, about showing mercy to animals and knowing that a lot of animals like sharks and predators in general only attack when they feel threatened by us. This is about how humans pollute the earth and how the night sky looks better when there isn't so much human activity to spoil it. This is why Ruth is shown to be the only one who communicates with the creature. At the end, they show mercy to a monster, and then one act of kindness stops the whole carnage, and they can tell that the creatures are gone for good. They truly seem to be the only ones left alive in the area, so the first thing they do in a post-apocalyptic world is set out to sea to find other survivors. Not to try and salvage anything, not to try and restock. I know that's what I would do. Ultimately, this movie had a premise that opened up endless possibilities. So that's what they did. They explored all the possibilities, leaving us just feeling lost at certain points. It was a bit interesting at times, but a lot of scenes were very skippable. So why were you disappointed? Well, because you saw the trailer, you saw the stills, and you felt that you were going to get a horror film, or a psychological thriller at least. But this is not what this movie was about. It was about everything else. I don't think this movie is terrible. I think they achieved their objectives. But let me know what you think. If you watched this video this far, please give it a thumbs up. Many thanks for watching. Subscribe for more movie content, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.